Greetings and welcome. Today we're taking a trip back in time to fair Verona, a city that's absolutely simmering with passion, poetry, and, well, a lot of poison. We're going to dive deep into the first two acts of what might be the most famous tragedy ever written, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
Right off the bat, Shakespeare gives us what's basically a movie trailer for the whole play. This opening prologue spells it all out. You've got two major families, the Montagues and the Capulets, who are locked in this, quote, ancient grudge. And their kids? They're the star-crossed lovers, which is a fancy way of saying their love story was doomed by the stars from the very beginning. So before we can even get to the romance, we have to understand the world these two are born into. And let me tell you, it's a city that's been poisoned by a deep, deep hatred between their families.
Now, when Shakespeare says ancient grudge, he doesn't mean they just don't send each other Christmas cards. No. This is a full-on, violent public war that just explodes on the streets. It's so bad that even the old guys, the heads of the families, are screaming for their swords over a fight that their servants started. It's totally out of control.
The whole thing gets so chaotic that the Prince of Verona himself has to show up and break it up. And he has had it, he is done, he lays down the law with a final warning. The next person who starts a fight in public will be executed. Just like that, the stakes are literally life and death.
So in the middle of all this hate and violence, you'd think everyone would be on edge, right? Well, that's when we meet our hero, Romeo Montague. And honestly, he could not care less about the feud because he is absolutely drowning in a drama of his own.
Oh, Romeo. He is the poster child for teenage angst. He's playing this part of the Petrarchan lover, which was this popular trope from the poetry of the time. Basically, he's in love with the idea of being in love. He's moping around, writing bad poems about the beautiful Rosalind, who, by the way, has sworn to be a nun and wants absolutely nothing to do with him.
Okay, so you've got the picture. A city about to boil over and a hero with a serious case of unrequited love. Now get ready, because one little accident, a simple coincidence, is about to kick this whole tragedy into high gear.
So get this. A servant from the Capulet house, the enemy, can't read, and he bumps into Romeo, asking for help with a party guest list. And who does Romeo see on that list? You guessed it, Rosalind. So his friends talk him into crashing the party. Their plan? To show him their other fish in the sea, and maybe, just maybe, he'll finally get over her.
Right, it's party time at the Capulets. Romeo and his friends show up wearing masks. Now remember, Romeo has one goal and one goal only. Find Rosalind. But his whole world is about to get turned completely upside down.
And then he sees her. Across the room is Juliet Capulet. And in a split second, Rosalind? Who? It's like she never existed. He is just floored, saying he's never seen true beauty until this very night. The connection is instant. It's electric.
But, and this is so brilliant, at the exact same time that Romeo finds love, Juliet's hot-headed cousin, Tybalt, hears his voice. He doesn't see a guy falling in love. All he hears is the voice of a Montague, an enemy who dared to sneak into their house.
And there you have it. In this one single moment, the two driving forces of the entire play are born. For Romeo, Juliet is a holy shrine he wants to worship. But for Tybalt, Romeo is a villain he wants to kill. Love and hate, born in the same breath.
So when Romeo finally works up the nerve to talk to Juliet, they don't just have some awkward small talk. No, their very first words to each other, this amazing back and forth about pilgrims and saints, actually form a perfect sonnet.
So why is that a big deal? Well, a sonnet is a really strict, structured kind of poem. And the fact that these two create one together, spontaneously, is Shakespeare's way of screaming at us that their connection is perfect. It's like their love is creating this little pocket of beauty and order in the middle of all the chaos and hate they live in.
But of course, this perfect poetic moment, it doesn't last long. Not at all. Because just as fast as their love appeared, they're both about to find out a truly devastating truth. After their kiss, they get pulled apart, and they each find out who the other is. And in these crushing, parallel moments, the awful reality hits them. Romeo realizes his life now belongs to his enemy, and Juliet just cries out in despair, "My only love sprung from my only hate."
All right, and that brings us to one of the most famous, most iconic scenes in all of literature. This is where their brand new love gets its first and most dangerous test.
So instead of going home, Romeo just can't bring himself to leave. He literally risks being killed on sight by jumping the wall into the Capulets' orchard. He's in the heart of enemy territory, pulled in by a force he just can't fight.
And then Juliet appears on her balcony. She thinks she's totally alone, so she starts speaking her thoughts out loud to the night. She has absolutely no idea that the boy she just fell for is hiding in the bushes right below her, hanging on her every word.
And then she says it, probably one of the most famous lines ever. "Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?" Now, you've probably heard this a million times, but do you know what she's actually asking?
Okay, quick lesson. This is so important. Wherefore does not mean where, it means why. She's not asking where he is, she's complaining about who he is. She's asking, why did you have to be Romeo? Why did you have to be a Montague? His name is the only thing standing between them.
And this leads her to this brilliant point. What's in a name anyway? It's just a word, a label. She says that a rose would smell just as sweet even if you called it something else. And Romeo would be just as perfect even if he wasn't called a Montague.
Well, Romeo can't stay hidden any longer. He reveals himself. And even though he could be killed at any second if he's found, they declare their love for each other. And right there, in the heat of the moment, they make an insane, radical decision. They're going to defy everyone and get married in secret.
And that's where we leave them at the end of Acts 2. They've been brought together by this incredible, powerful love, but they're completely surrounded by hate. And you have to wonder, can a secret marriage between two teenagers really be enough to stop a war that's been raging for generations?